Hi, everyone. I'm Andre Young. I'm a professional speaker, author, leadership trainer, and founder of You Evolving Now. My whole mission is to enhance leadership and work-life harmony. Notice I didn't say balance, work-life harmony for organizations, leaders, employees, teams, and individuals around the world. It's my pleasure to go in and provide trainings and speaking engagements and programs to help enhance that, because leadership is twofold. One, personal leadership, how you and I show up to our work, to our life, and our relationships. Then the skills necessary to effectively run a team. And work-life harmony is now more important than it's ever been. So I'm excited to spend some time with you today.
So typically in your experience of dealing with leadership members, you would have come across plenty of problems related to performance management. But my humble request to you would be, what exactly performance management means to you, and what are some of the challenges that you have come across related to performance management issue?
No, I love the question because the answer is very simple. I think one of the biggest issues, and what performance management means to me is, one, how our people are performing and how our people are performing under our management. And I'm honored to get to talk about the 5 different types of managers and the 5 different types of leaders, because they're 2 different things. I've been on both sides of a lot of things. I have been what I say the world's best employee, says me. I've been the world's worst employee. I was also elevated when I was an employee to positions of leadership. And the truth is, none of us know how to lead. We first manage. Lead lazy because we're leading with our style, our language, and we're not fully connecting and meeting the deepest need of our people or the team, and sometimes even the organization. So before we learn how to lead, we're managing, and there's 5 different types of those. And then there's 5 different types of leaders, and there's pros and concerns of each. So the 3 biggest issues I see in managing and performance management and even evaluating it is, number 1, the promotion process. Most of the time in organizations, you do one job great enough for long enough, you'll get promoted. And now you're promoted to do a job that you weren't typically good at. So here's an example. You sell $1 million worth of product. Someone will make you the sales manager. It doesn't mean that you know how to manage anyone, lead anyone. What it means is you knew how to sell $1 million worth of product your way. And then you're going to make everybody else do it your way. And when they don't do it, you don't know what to do to speak a different language to your people to best motivate. So now that individual, that manager, is now either overcompensating in their style and being abusive and being a bully, or are so not comfortable with leading that they disconnect and they lead their team on the other side of their door of their office or via email. Both are ineffective, even if you manage to make your numbers. The other part is the connection piece. And the connection piece is huge because we lead lazy. We lead with our communication. And I came up with something that's in my newest book that just came out, 7 Ways to Lead. Way 7 of 7 Ways to Lead is called the Leader 7. And it's the 7 languages that your people need, want, and benefit most hearing from leadership. And as leaders, we need to be able to speak all 7. However, each one of your people has a top 1 or 2. So when we're leading with knowledge and advancement, because we want all of our people, and we think that all of our people should want more knowledge, should want to move up, should want to be you one day, it should be their baby. Well, it might not be. Maybe they want goodie time and they're best motivated by donuts that you bring into the office. Maybe it's incentives. Maybe it's the pat on the back. So being curious enough to know their language. And the other part is always being able to lead with their motivation. So many times we could say as leaders, look, I pay you to do this job. You should, bully word, want to do it. And the fact is, you're going to have these all-stars, your emerging leaders, they're inspired and motivated. But you're also going to have some grouches, some outliers, some people that may be struggling or hurt by organizational change or life change. So being able to speak everybody's language, knowing what people need, also maintaining a standard and expectation is what's best in performance management.
Now, typically in India, the mindset or probably the fundamental flaw is in the objective setting process. I need to ensure that everybody is aware what they are expected to perform in the beginning of the year. Yeah. And that's where typically after 6 months, 1 year, when you kind of get into a meeting to give this performance feedback, employees, my colleagues say that, hey, you know what? We never discussed about what was expected out of me. Now you're saying I should have done X, Y, Z. Unfair. Typically in the US, is that a pertinent problem statement? And if yes, how are you dealing with that? If no, then what are the other challenges related to performance management?
You hit the nail right on the head. I can't tell you how many organizations I'm honored to go into. However, when I sit down and I meet with cohorts, so my philosophy is I want to meet with C-suite and middle management first. And then I also want to take my leadership and work-life harmony training to frontline employees as well. Let's book in the company. So a couple things came to mind when you're sharing. When I sit down and talk with the C-suite and middle management about what I call the leaders three, what is your vision? What is your vision for the company? What is your vision for the team? What's your vision for this product? Whatever it is. Most people struggle to even have that, or this too vague, it's too wordy. I say, listen, if your 13-year-old can't say your vision and your leaders three, it's too long. It's too convoluted. Simplify it. So what's your vision? And then most people stop there. And as if having a vision is enough. Now, what are the vision factors? The 3 to 5 things that when you do them consistently, the vision takes care of itself. So many people don't know what that is. So the company, your team as a leader, one, do you even know your vision? If you don't, how is your people supposed to? And then what are your vision factors? Let's stop focusing on being great and do the things daily that will make us great. So these 3 to 5 things. And then what's your expectation for the team? And then what are the rules? I don't believe you need a lot of rules. However, you have to have a few. Mine are very simple. 1, be on time, preferably 5 minutes before you said you were going to be there. Number 2, we go back and forth in emails more than 3 or 4 times. We're missing something. Let's get on a Zoom call or a call to fix it. And then number 3, please accompany your problem with a suggested solution. Now, we may go with it, we may fine tune it, or I may share with you the bigger picture and challenge you to put your idea now into the bigger picture. But I want to know and I want to listen. So when we talk about that as leaders, one, we have to know that. We cannot assume that our people know that or will remember it for a whole year, because sometimes things change. So because that happens, we got to know our leaders three. We have to speak it in our meetings. We have to speak it in our personal leadership. And that leads us to connecting with our people. I'm a big proponent for one-on-one meetings. Sure. And I know, like you listening, know that it's the number one canceled and rescheduled meeting across all organizations around the world, because the organizations and leaders and people are so busy being busy. Sometimes we forget to be better and connect with our people. You want people tied to the vision. You want people highly motivated. Have that one-on-one meeting with our people. Schedule it. It's not an accident. It's a requirement. What's been your positive of the month? What's been going good? I go into companies and I say, well, I want to know your leaders three. What is your vision professionally here at this company? What is your vision factors? What is it going to take? What's your expectations? Okay, here's your companies. Did you know them? And they all pull out their pencil, eager to know it and write it down. People want to know what's expected of them. Most people want to do good at the job they were hired to do. Most people want to. And because the busyness happens, they get in the rut. Leaders get in the rut. And then now leaders are only having tough conversations.
And the next question, probably a curious one in my mind. Throughout your academic career, the focus is more on individual brilliance. You got to be qualifying this in first division. You got to be the university topper, and cut to corporate world where the focus is not on individual brilliance, but to the ability to take people along. How leaders need to move that needle from being an individual brilliant person to having that ability to take people along without losing the focus on what got to be achieved.
I'm so happy that you asked that, because my wife and I debate about school and work. And my wife had a 4.0, so she had all A's since she was born. Like, she's so big on school. And I don't dislike school. I did not enjoy school. However, so many things from the school atmosphere does not translate into work, because what they call cheating in school is how business is done. It's done on a team. I don't have to have all the answers. I could ask you for the answer. We could come up with this together, all of these different things. So from that individual status to the team effort, there's so many things that don't cross the line neatly when we talk about school and business. The one thing that I would do, and I would stress for leaders to do, is something very, very simple. And I've kind of already talked about it. One, we already know that we're going to have meetings. Every company is inundated with meetings. Okay. However, we have a hard time getting human to human with our people and the coworkers with each other. What they know about each other is the tasks that they do, and every department and most employees tend to think that their job is the hardest job and the other person in the other department or at the other desk has it easier. And because we don't have that human to human connection, we fail to bond, we fail to motivate, we fail to support. And I found one of the simplest things that we can do, and I do this at every single training that I do for organizations. I start off every single one with what's been the positive of the week. What's been your big positive? And as a leader, you got to go first. You go first. And I share something. I say that my son hit the game-winning shot in the game. It was so exciting. I also was booked to speak on a cruise, which is actually true. And that was really cool. And we do that. We go first as leaders for a couple different reasons. One, you ask most people how they're doing, right? They will say too cold, it's too hot, it's too whatever. It's always too something, too bad, too negative. So most people don't even know how to answer the question of what's going good. And then they may not know what you want them to say. Give that example. Now, if you have a meeting of 7 people, maybe it's 700 people, who knows? I always pick out 3 or 4 people. So Anil, Tim, Wendy, I want to know what your positive of the week. I'll go first. I also have a rule of a mandatory applause. So if you're in person, we're going to applause. If we're on a Zoom call, we do an air applause, because most of us are not going to return home to a standing ovation. Not likely. So we want to give the gift of that applause. So this is something, hey, and you put a time limit on it because some people are chatty Carls or chatty Cathys. So, hey, 1 minute, what's your positive? I go first as the leader and then boom, boom, boom. And then people get to hear, wow, I didn't know that your daughter just stopped getting bullied or your son went to this school or played for this team. And you start finding that people have these connections that would have never come up. Because what do they talk about at work? Their job, maybe how much they don't like the job, maybe how much they don't like you as a leader. And it's all of this water cooler, negative Nancy conversation. This is something interesting. It's something positive. And that coworker may never know that other coworker's name. However, they will remember their positive of the week. And now we get into business. We cannot say that we are too busy to spare 3 minutes. You go and 3 other people go. 3 minutes. We cannot be so busy that we can't have that. So that would be from a connection standpoint for a team. Notice, I didn't say anything about business. I didn't say anything about our vision or anything. Let's get human to human first. Guys, we have to know this. Those listening, please be aware of this. It is amazing how much more people will do for you, with you, because of you, and forgive about you when they feel connected to you. If that's the only thing you take from our conversation, I hope you take that, because that's true professionally and personally.
And now let me switch the gear and, ask you one hypothetical question purely for my learning. Andre, as a leader, you have got 2 colleagues. One colleague comes to you and tells you that, hey, you know what? In the last months, I have tried my best. I have put in my effort. But unfortunately, I am not in a position to show you some tangible outcome. And the second one comes in and says that, okay, I didn't put much effort, but this is what I have committed. And my outcome is phenomenally well and better than the other person. So as a leader, whether you are going to support, promote effort, or as a leader, we should be promoting only outcome. I'm not interested in knowing what did you do, so long as you fulfill the objective. What would be your perspective on this?
Well, two things come to mind off the top of my head. So I love that an unscripted hypothetical. The first one is most of the time, not all. Anytime you say every or all, you're wrong. Okay. Most of the time, the results win. What are the results? How did you get this result? So, like for me, I'm a visionary type of leader. I don't need to know all of the nooks and crannies and the small steps that you did to get it. Does it work? And do we need it to work for now or for long term? Because sometimes the results are great for now. However, it's not going to be sustainable moving forward. So does the results fit the picture necessary? Am I focused on the small picture or am I focused on the big picture? So my heart wants to say the results. The other part of me, the human part of me, wants to know why. I want to know why. I want to know your underworkings. So the person who said, I have tried my best, I did my best, however, my results aren't what you want. I want to understand what your best really looks like. Is your best top tier? Is your best because of the knowledge base? You're new to what I'm asking you to do. Therefore, your best is not something that is of high standard. If so, that's my fault as a leader. One, I hired you, I brought you on the team, or maybe I inherited the team. How come I don't know that about you? So as a leader, I want to know where you stand. Where are you at? Where are you comfortable with? And this is what I call a leader's book ending. When we start these new projects, as leaders, sometimes we do very poor jobs starting and stopping a project. So I was once talking to a gentleman. He was hired. The company knew that he didn't know much about it. Knew that they didn't know much. So every time they met, it was a tough conversation, a bad conversation about how poor he didn't meet his numbers. And it was like the teacher writing all of the red ink on the paper, on the test, only to send them out to do the whole same thing again. He was so dejected. His effort was high. His competence was low. They knew that. So are they providing him coaching, opportunity? So a book ending starts with, hey, look, what are you excited about for this project? What are you anxious about? What are you nervous about? I need to know. So now as a leader, I can help that individual. Now, I'm here for you when you need me. We need to now constitute and understand what an emergency is. Everything that's an emergency for you may not be an emergency for me. Let's schedule it and boom. When we end the project, I want to know what you like most. Number two, what you learned most. What was your biggest takeaway? And number three, what would you teach someone coming up behind you to do the same thing? I want them to digest what they learned and then be able to teach it, because leaders build other leaders. So my heart wants to say results. If you're busy being busy, you're always going to go results. When you brought this person in, their failure is as much as your fault as theirs. So the other person that came and said, I didn't try very hard, or I didn't have a lot of time. Well, as a leader, I want to know why. Like, leaders know their people's list. Is your list so long that you didn't have time? What else did you prioritize on top of it? How are you going about prioritizing? Let's clean that up. And with that little bit of time you got here, how'd you do that? Can you teach somebody else? Because I like a lot of views. If you could do this level of work in less time, what did you do? So I like both people. And one of the biggest struggles as leaders that we're going to face, I call it a leader's let go. Sometimes we have to fire two types of people. You can fire that person that is yielding these results. So the second person in your scenario didn't have a lot of time, didn't spend a lot of time, got the great results. Well, how? Sometimes our high producers, they get the results, they get the sales, they get the numbers the company want, but did they step on people's backs and throats to get it? Or did they lie? Did they cheat? Did they take away all of the time from their family and now they're going through divorce all of a sudden to please you? Like, no, that's not healthy. I don't want that. Sometimes we have to let those individuals go to make a point. And then the potential, the first person that you mentioned, I love their potential. I know that you can be what I want you to be, or what you could be or should be, bully word. And when they continuously don't pan out, after you have given great coaching opportunity to up their work ethic and talent, it may be time to let them go. So for me, both of them are okay. As a leader, when I've done my job, I understand both and I know what both need.
Now,
Thank you.
Most of the organizations right now, I'm talking about the big corporates, are thinking of, scrapping their entire appraisal process because they believe that it doesn't really make sense to bucketize people basis their performance. And should organizations have a formal mechanism to evaluate performance, or it has to be real-time basis?
I'm going to say yes and no, depending on the size of the company. Sometimes the company is so large. I mean, it's the only way that they can in regards to the size, the magnitude of everything. However, I would like to see it chunked down because I don't like it. I mean, here's the pros and concerns. I believe everything has pros and concerns. The pro is when you put that bell curve on people, you're going to see the outliers. So that all-star employee that you have, great. I call them the inspired and motivated. Every company wants thousands of inspired and motivated. The truth is every company can't handle thousands of inspired and motivated because they want more from you. They want a connection. They want to grow. They want to advance. There's not enough money or positions to fulfill them all. So you're going to lose great people. And that's okay as long as it's for the right reason. So we want to know who they are, what they need, what they want. We also want to know on the other side of that outlier, that bell curve, the people that are struggling. Well, why are they struggling? Are they struggling because something organizationally is a problem? Do they have the tools to be successful? Are they going through something professionally, personally? What's going on? And so we want to be curious about them instead of cutting them, because maybe I've seen some inspired and motivated employees. So asking people to rate themselves. And as a leader, you can ask anybody on this curve to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. And I say, rate yourself as a scale of 1 to 10 as a leader, as a professional, your craft, what you actually get paid to do once every 2 weeks. And then as a coworker, whatever their number, we never want to minimize it. We never want to look down on it. Whatever your number, I've heard everything from 10s to 20s to 4s to -3s, heard everything. Ask that individual what they believe would take them up a number or 2. That person that's in the middle that says they're a 5, okay, great. Why are you a 5? And what do you believe would take you up to a 6 or a 7? Because that 5 cannot fathom being a 10. You want them as leaders. We want them. The organization wants everybody to be a 10. Not going to happen. That 5 can realistically move up a number or 2. Even if they could get to that 10 right away, they can't maintain it. They slide back down to where they're comfortable. They can fathom moving up a number or 2. Now you mix in what you need from them and we marry that. We marry what you want to do to move up a number or 2 with what we need as an organization. And now everybody starts to win and move up a block. So the realistic understanding of they're always going to be outliers. What does this person need, the inspired and motivated need? So we understand that they don't get burnt out or bored out and leave your organization, or they get burnt out and bored out and stay. The people in the middle, ask them what they rate themselves, what would take them up a number or 2, marry it with what you need, and let's provide great coaching and opportunity. And that's part of the difficulty with so many organizations. When we see the inspired and motivated, the people on the right side of the curve, oh, we can't wait to get our emerging superstars coaching and opportunity. I say, let's start there for everyone. Let's get everyone great coaching and great opportunity. And it's amazing what will then in turn happen to their work ethic and talent. Those who don't raise up after you've done that, they got to go. And that's okay. That's okay.
We are aware of plenty of biasness on the part of the manager. We have recent effect, central tendency. But my question is a little more beyond the typical rater's error. And tell me, as a leader, did you ever come across situations where people talk that, hey, being attractive, being good-looking men or women, people get advantages, undue advantages in the appraisal?
Wow. I'm sure I have unconsciously, because the truth is attractiveness does matter in our world. It does. Like I remember years ago watching an episode on 2020. So those of you guys listening, please don't email me and ask me statistics. I have zero statistics. Okay. I, however, know that we tend to treat people that we deem more attractive with a better regard. So we're more polite. We tend to smile more. We make more eye contact. We exhibit more and exude more personal leadership around people that we deem more attractive. And whether that be an attractive male, an attractive female, an attractive, personality. So I always think that when you are attractive, it can yield more, attention. Also, the concern with that is this, though. I was a mental health therapist for 19 years. And there was one thing, there was a lot of things that I learned. However, I was talking to our school, I was working in the school, our school psychiatrist one day. And there was a gentleman that was in our school as a student. And he was an attractive young man. He was a good looking young man, and he was very quiet. And the psychiatrist said something to me that day that stuck to this day. And he said, we always have to watch out for the attractive, quiet student or employee, because we can tend to ignore them. So sometimes they may get our attention. However, we tend to ignore them. We assume that they're doing a good job. We assume that they know everything that they need to know. And as long as they stay quiet, we have no idea what's really going on. So either we give them too much attention, or we don't give them enough to understand what's going on and what they need because of our assumption of their attractive ability. So again, I'm always big. The best thing that circumvents that is the one-on-one meetings, not assuming, staying curious, but also knowing and maintaining, the vision and vision factors, the expectations and the rules. When you know that, it makes it so much easier to know who fits and then what to say yes and no to. And everybody's always walking the same path. And now you're not only having meetings with your attractive employees, you're having meetings with everyone. So now it's not about attractive. You know what's attractive to me? People that are aligned with the vision of my company, aligned with the mission, are proactive and want to be here. That's attractive. That's attractive. So that's what I would really be mindful of when you're around individuals that are attractive within your organization. Over attention, lack of attention to everyone because they see it, people see it, and possibly ignoring them because we're assuming they have everything together. They know what they need to know and they're doing their job. Let the one-on-ones be of value to you, and that way you're not discriminating. And you're also then meeting the needs, and they get to meet your needs. Believe me, most employees I meet want to meet your need too. However, if they don't know it, how can they?
Our discussion would be incomplete if I don't ask you a question related to work-life balance. Now, when we have plenty of Gen Z, people born after 1995,
Yeah.
do you still believe as an expert there is something called work and life? Are they not saying work is life, provided we know how to create that happiness, that involvement? Your takes on this?
Wow. I don't enjoy the term work-life balance. And this is why. Years ago, before cell phones, before everybody was carrying a laptop around, before everybody had an iPad, there was this strict division between work and home. And people would say, and this is not too long ago, you leave home at home when you walk through the work door, and you leave work at work before you walk into your house. So it was that work-life balance that people were attempting to get. Hey, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of home. The fact that you now carry a cell phone everywhere you are means that your life, your significant other, your kids, your drama is now everywhere you are. The days of leaving home at home when you walk into work are done. So you go into work and you're attempting to do your job while responding to 10 pages worth of hate text because you and your partner are fighting, or maybe your kids are doing something and they're arguing and they're talking to you about somebody hit me and somebody I'm crying, or I got homework, or I have practice, whatever it is. It's all coming. It's this whirlwind of things we need to deal with during our workday. Contrastly now, when that same employee goes home, their phone may not stop ringing, dinging, and chiming with all of this work stuff. And your boss may say, oh, you don't have to answer it. It's just, I'm getting it out of my mind. We're preparing for tomorrow. Well, it doesn't wipe away the anxiety that employee, that person, you feel about, well, what's going on? What am I walking into tomorrow? Well, I want that promotion. Did somebody else respond? Do I need to respond? It doesn't wipe away the anxiety. Not to mention with work being so prevalent, it always feels like it's going on, especially now through COVID, a global pandemic, the Zoom calls and everything. So it doesn't stop. So I don't believe in work-life balance. Sometimes you're going to work way more than you play, and sometimes you're going to play more than you work. So let's forget about balance, causes more stress. Harmony, we can have harmony in both. Years ago, when I was working full-time at a job and full-time doing what I do now all the time with 4 kids, 3 at the time, I had no work-life balance. That wasn't balance. I was working like a crazy person. So you don't always need balance. Harmony. How do we get it though? How do we get it? So I'll quickly share my 5 points of the day. I've been doing this for years. Please feel free to put it in your toolbox of things. And I talk about it all over the world. I call it the 5 points. Number 1, what you consume when you wake up in the morning. There's too many employees waking up and taking their laptop into their bathroom while they're going to the bathroom and starting with emails. I don't even start my emails till 11 a.m. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do that or can do that. However, let's be mindful what we're consuming. What are you putting in your mind, your heart, and your spirit? So some people may do yoga, meditation, prayer. I like short motivational videos. So for the past 10 years, I've woke up posting my content. So on leadership and work-life harmony, I will never stop posting my own content because what it does for me. It's impossible to speak it, write it, read it, and then not live it over time. Number 2, how you organize your day. So when you get to wherever work is, do you have a list of things that you get to do? I don't like saying have to do, because you don't have to do anything. You can quit your job today. I don't know if you want to, but you could. So I know I have at least 20 things that I need to do to effectively run my business daily. Is it written down so I can cross it off? Are my wins, are your wins on that list? Or are you about to be so busy running the day that you forget to run your business, run your life? We gotta lead it. We just don't do it. So, no, and then who you choose to be around. You know who the negative drainers are at your company. You greet everyone. You don't, stay around and converse with everyone all the time. So number 1, what you consume. Number 2, organize your day. Number 3, I call it midday self-care and relationship building. The self-care part, midday, we all hit a wall. It might be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. When you hit that wall, do something that is healthy for you. And whether that's eating lunch by yourself, remembering to eat, eating with someone different, taking a walk, doing some push-ups. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is for you, do something. And also the relationship building. What an awesome time to potentially send a text to your significant other. I send something to my wife. I could be in the next room. Maybe she's at work somewhere. Maybe you can send a text to your mom if you're still lucky enough to have her in your life, your dad if they're still living, your kids, your brother, your sister, your friends. What does it take to send a text? 20 seconds? 20 seconds to say, hi, I'm thinking about you, say something nice. It gives them that gift. It gives you that gift, and it sets you up for the back half of your day. Great. Point number 4, how we return home, or nowadays, how you may return back to your family after you shut your laptop down. Most employers want employees that look like they want to be there. They don't want the employee that's dragging themselves around, TGIF, and thank God it's Friday. Most of us return home to our family, the people we say we love the most, looking just like that, drained, frustrated, complaining about the day, complaining about the boss, complaining about the project, whatever it is. And we compound that day after day, week after week, month after month, decade after decade. What kind of life did you think you were going to have? And what kind of relationship did you think you're going to have? Lastly, and everybody has to do something different. For me, I love going to the gym or exercising. Maybe some people want to take a shower, watch the day off, whatever it is. So find something that works for you. Explain to your people and your family why you're doing it. And then be sure to come back to be the world's best dad or mom or brother or sister or whatever after that. Be sure to do that, or else it's in vain. The last point of the day, and this is the juggernaut. I love it. It's the cherry on top. Every night before you go to bed, I do it 5 days a week. Feel free to do it 7. I do it 5. Every night before you go to bed, ask yourself, what was your biggest accomplishment of the day? Most people are operating with that tornado of busy and already thinking about how horrible the next day is going to be or what they have to do the next day. When you don't celebrate the wins, first off, your partner, your significant other, your boss, your employees may not even know what a win is for you. You do. What was your biggest accomplishment of the day? Having an answer to that question, professionally or personally or both, allows you to have won the day instead of the day always kicking your butt. And winning becomes addictive. You don't mind doing it the next day when you know you're winning. And those wins add up. And maybe you even ask your significant other, ask your kids from time to time, what was your biggest win today? I guarantee you don't know their answer. So that's something that's been really big for maintaining work-life harmony for me. I was doing it for years. I didn't know what I was doing. But then when I sat back and looked at it and then developed it and wrote it down and now get to teach it to people all over the world to enhance their leadership and work-life harmony, it's been amazing what it does. So those of you listening, I would ask you right now to think to yourself, what was your biggest takeaway from that, from the 5 points of the day? And what the heck are you going to do about it? What was your biggest takeaway from the one-on-one meetings that I've shared, the speaking the different languages of your people that I shared? It would be a shame to listen to this podcast and the great questions that were asked and not have a gem and what you're going to take out of it to start doing now. My business is called You Evolving Now, not you evolving when you're motivated on a Monday or motivated January 1st. Now, what are you going to do?
So friends, that was Andre Young for you, motivation expert and CXO coach and work and life harmony expert. Could not thank you enough, Andre, for your honest and blunt sharing up of perspectives. Thank you so very much. I learned a lot through our conversation.
Thank you.